this is part 2. I stumbled upon a website. If you do a Google search for earth angels, you're not going to really find a whole lot. So what I wanted to do was just go down to some of the questions. There were hundreds of questions on this questionnaire to see if I'm an earth angel. It was a survey, and I just thought that it would be interesting to see what my answers would be. So I'll go over the most important ones, and I'll disclose the website later. It's kind of an underground deal. But one of the questions is, do you suddenly feel like life isn't here but back somewhere, but into the future somewhere else? Yes. Have you given up belongings to groups and continually discuss spiritual matters? Yes, I have given up belongings to groups. I have given boxes of my material possessions to TBN, to Prince, to Mel Gibson, sent some stuff to Oprah, the United Methodist Church, give a lot of stuff away. And it's not money, it's material possessions. And the one thing you have to understand is, after God came to me and then Jesus and I built the theme park and everything got rolling with how my life was going to change drastically, I had never really been that person to just drive by someone and take off my ring and give it to them. I mean, everybody was saying, what in the hell is she doing? You know, what in the hell is she doing? And a lot of times I didn't know. All I know was that Jesus would say, will you do this for me? Will you give that to this person? And will you allocate it? And I did everything that God and Jesus told me to do. So with that, mustard seeds, my inheritance may not be gargantuous in my lifetime, but in heaven, psh, they got my party ready to roll, and my wedding ready to roll, and everything's going to be smack diddly awesome. If it doesn't happen down here, I don't give a crap. Do you feel invisible when you go out in public? I don't feel invisible. I feel invisible on Facebook. And sometimes when I'm walking around, I do feel like, well, having Christopher with me humanizes me, and it changes the way that I used to feel. I used to feel I could walk streets and feel completely alone on the face of this earth, like nobody else was there. Just Jesus and I walking around. Do you put yourself in regards to your health first? Nope. Are you ready to retire? Now, when they say retire, they mean like die. And I'm like, check. Do you notice much more of what's around you instead of what's going on in you? That is something that has affected my ministry and every aspect of my brain doing what my brain does. Before a natural disaster, I usually get manic, or right after one, but usually it's before. And you know, I've been in 14 hospitals in the last 7 years because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with my brain. They were like, what's wrong with her brain? We can't figure it out. I mean, 1 minute she, you know, is answering these questions, counting backwards from, you know, 100 by 7s, and she's just rattling off information, and, you know, so they treated me like an ET. Just this complete alien that, you know, didn't have any rights. I was tossed around and lost careers and would get out of the hospitals and start my life again, and Jesus would just and dump all this stuff on me to do, and I'd have to do it, and I'd get in trouble, and back into the hospital I would go. You know, let's give her this medicine, let's give her that medicine. These medicines aren't working. What's wrong? What are we doing that's wrong? Well, we need to increase the amount of this of what she takes, and that, da-da-da-da-da. It was an absolute nightmare. I've been on everything under the sun, and my message to the mental health professionals is, you can't stop God, dude. If God wants somebody to do something, it doesn't matter what pill you have taken. Take all 4 gallons of that crap that what's-his-face was going to give Michael Jackson. I could swallow all of it and frickin', you know, just be hanging out, not tired. Woohoo! Let's go. God does what God's going to do. And that's the biggest message I have in this video, is when God wants something done by one of His, it's going to happen, come hell or high water. And that's about what people are going to be getting. Some hell and some high water. Do you easily and clearly see others and what they are here to contribute? I've done that before. What I do is I usually will look up somebody's name and I'll post it to them. Because your namesake is what you're meant to do. It describes the person that you are. The fundamental core of who you are is what your name's all about. If you don't know what the meaning of your name is, then I can understand why people would be confused about their purpose in life. Have you felt in recent years and months that you were stretching yourself far beyond what you had the capacity to endure? Yes. Big problem of mine. Now some could say, psh, you know what? She's doing this, that, and the other. It's not even like she has a corporate job pulling in $600,000 or $1 million a year. Why does she talk like she's the wealthiest person in the world? Well, all I can say is that I'm one out of 6 billion people that was willing to wear a cross on my forehead every single day. In Revelation 22:4, I believe it says that everyone will have his name written on their forehead. So, just a trendsetter, just a visionary, and I was in 2 comas. Next question. Do you wonder who you're looking at in the mirror? Have you ever wondered if you've lost your identity, or you look in the mirror and you just don't recognize who you've become? I think a lot of people do that. Have you been removed from your usual means of employment and cannot seem to find another job no matter how hard you try because of problems in the past? That's how I got myself into trouble with me not being on a yacht right now. But it was all about God and what He wanted. So when you go out into public or an event, do you feel like you are acting? Yeah. It's not being fake. It's just that you have this covert about you. You know, I'm always like, got my baseball cap on and my sunglasses on. And I'll be walking around, you know, kind of like doo-doo-doo, under the radar. Acting. That's really odd that they would put that in there. Because other people clearly have had this issue. Do you crave the company of children? Yes. Have you had periods where you wake up at the same time every night? Yes. 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It's when I do my best work, but then I'm exhausted the whole rest of the next day. Anyway, this goes on and on and on. Have you had periods where you've continually seen the repeating numbers, where it be digital clocks or license plates or other arenas? I always pull out 7s. If there's a 7 to be had in a 5-mile radius of me, I'm like, I can pull a 7. So, have you experienced periods where you felt like your blood sugar was low, forcing you to eat every 2 hours whether you wanted to or not? Yes. Interesting that they would put that there. Have you found that the only way to stay sane or safe is to reside and stay in your own personal sanctuary home? Yes. Do you wonder why things seem to be getting worse instead of better? Yes. Has it been difficult for you to be in crowds or large stores lately with lights that are bright and voices ringing, buzzing, da-da-da? Yeah. 10-4. Before every natural disaster, I get this ringing in my ear. Do you wonder where the world, do you wonder where in the world you have landed and feel that you do not belong here and want to go home? Yes. But if you say that to a mental health professional, my mission in life is to get home. Where's home? Heaven. Oh, okay. Then you're doing 72 hours, dude. That is what RCW in the state of Washington can do. I was never suicidal, never ever even talked that way, but somehow ended up in these hospitals, and the reason that I did, I know now, was because I was supposed to minister. Some people do it in jail, some people do it in the streets, some people do it from their fancy churches. I've done things that have never been done before, and I can't wait until all my projects reflect that and things circulate. Alright, thanks for watching, and remember, wherever you go, there you are.